Good morning. So, can you hear me okay? Okay. Okay. So, so I watched my YouTube of my talk, and it seems like I talk slow, so you can speed it up when you watch it on the YouTube. I think 1.5 or 2, whatever, I think that works. Anyway, so so the last talk I said practicing in the marketplace as a layperson is harder because of so many distractions. And then I think it's true, but also at the same time, you will probably have a same problem whenever, wherever you are at the monastery or your home. So, and then I know a lot of people here, not everybody's monk or priest. So, so I think, I wanted to talk about like this teaching applied to both people. So when I was at the Tasahara, I have a friend who was I think first time trying to be a kokyo, who is a chanting person for the ceremony, and he really wanted to do it good, and then when we were practicing it, he was kind of like a kind of exploded, like, no, I can't do this anymore, this is too hard, too difficult, and he just kind of stormed out. So 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 I see, like, he really wanted to be good, to good chant, and then he feels like he was failing it. So, he couldn't take the embarrassment, So it's interesting, like, because I heard him saying, like, I'm the worst person, I'm terrible, So, and then at the same time, he really wanted to be good, and then if he's not good, he can't do it. So, and it's sort of same thing. I see the same thing, at my house. I hear my friend was talking about at my house. I live with like 12 people now, like in a community house, and then we have I think maybe there's one person practicing Zen, but the other 11 people are not practicing. Or so they have, I see like many sufferings, not just, it's interesting to see like how, the age is like maybe in their 20s or 30s, and so I been through a lot, and I think I still do, but like self-esteem, so a person says like, oh, I have to really increase my self-value today, I really need to increase my worth, and then I had to do something to increase my worth, and then I think she made ice cream, and then she feels like she made everybody happy, even she was actually hiding ice cream because she thought it was bad. So she, I asked her, like, where's the ice cream? No, it's bad, so I'm not gonna, So, well, I had to look for ice cream and I ate it. And then, so, no, it was good. So now, it's the opposite, now it's, oh, great, now, it's happy, it's terrible to happy, like, So this is sort of like a typical, wherever you go, in the monastery or home or, in anywhere, if you cling to your self-centered idea of yourself, you will suffer because, you're depending on other people's view about you, and you think you believe this is you, yourself, and you're so attached to it. And then if anybody said like, anybody praise you, you're like, yay! And then if anybody said, no, you did this wrong, and then you deflate it. So, going up and down, up and down. So this is, life of samsara, but the Buddhist teaching is like we could end this suffering. So first thing, and then I do the same thing. I'm not like I'm better than anybody, and then I'm not doing this anymore. I do the same thing. Like I make dinner once a week for my house, and then I'm I have a belief that I'm a good cook, and then so every Sunday I would do like okay, I want to make something good, and then if my housemate praise me like yay, and then if there's a you did this last week, why it's same thing? It's like, oh, so then the week after that I would make something different to make up, So I have attachment to my, self view of a good cook, and then make something delicious. I'm skilled with the cooking, and then so I'm attached to the idea of that. So this is, that's really lead to suffering. It's like obvious, but we keep doing it. We keep attaching to this, the body as me and self, and then so this is from Gakudo Yojinshu by Dogen. Points to what's in practicing the way. And this is from Heart of Zen, Okumura Roshi's translation. And this is first chapter. So I think this is like for the monks who just started to, to practice. So very beginner's instruction from Dogen. The chapter 1, the necessity of arousing body mind. Therefore, for now, I think it would be appropriate to talk about body mind as the mind that sees impermanence. Truly, when you see impermanence, egotistic mind does not arise, neither does desire for fame and profit. Out of fear of time, slipping away too swiftly, practice away as if you were trying to extinguish a fire enveloping your head. Reflecting on the transiency of your bodily life. So this is excerpt. So in order to give up egocentric mind, you really have to understand impermanence, or you really have to see it. So also, I like he uses the word of, you, as if like your head is on on fire. That expression, you heard it maybe before. So, but it's hard to see impermanence. You just forget. Oh yes, I know it's impermanent. And then you just doesn't. It just doesn't stick to it, because you just just go by your day. Just whatever comes up, just like and then just you don't realize you are attached to yourself again and again, over and over. So there's more from Dogen. I need to borrow wise people's words. So this is Dogen Shobogenzo Zuimonki, translation in by Okumaroshi. And then there's a waka poem in this book too, so that's why it's very thick. Really think a waka poem should be a separate book, but anyway. Okay, so now from this Dogen, the Zuimonki, Shobogenzo Zuimonki, chapter 2, book 2, number 2. And on this page 67. If we wish to put an end to greed, we must first depart from our ego-centered self. To depart from the ego-centered self, seeing impermanence is the primary concern. Most people in the world want to have a good reputation and to be appreciated, not only by themselves, but also by others. Because of that default motivation, we cannot become better, just give up self-attachment gradually. So he again talks about self-attachment, self-clinging, and then, in order to end this greed of trying to get something from, the other people's praise, if you have to get, leave the ego-centered self. And this is what is it? Book 3, book 3, section 11. This book 141. Also, once we have aroused such an aspiration, we should think solely of the impermanence of the world. Impermanence is truly reality right in front of our eyes. We need not wait for some teaching from others, some proof from some passage of scripture or some principle. Born in the morning and dead in the evening. A person we saw yesterday is no longer here today. This is what we see with our eyes and hear with our ears. This is what we see and hear about others. We should apply this to ourselves and think of impermanent reality of all beings. So it is really a key to understand deeply the impermanence of the reality in order to let go of this self-clinging. I like the expression of born in the morning and dead in the evening. A person we saw yesterday is no longer here today. So impermanence of everything, meaning you're impermanent, so you're not the same person as a second ago, actually, because everything is changing. But also you have to see everything else, so everybody else is the same way. So if you keep thinking you're the same person and then other people are the same person, you have a, same problem. You have the idea of, another person. This person is like this, and you're sort of like stuck to the idea, and you can't really see how the person is really is at this moment, because that person also changing. So the metaphor, you heard it maybe before, is the person is our, ourself. It's like flowing a river. So everything is changing. Your this is like 5 skandhas, and then 18. What is this thing? 18 elements. So that's if you're trying to okay, this is Ganges River. Doesn't have to be Ganges, but if you think, okay, this is Ganges River, so by which part is Ganges River, and then you think, okay, this is Ganges River, definitely this is Ganges River, but the water is flowing, and then so this water, you just take the water out, scoop it out with bucket. Is that the Ganges River? Or well, this thing, this thing is, but it's water, it's flowing constantly, so you can't really say, this is Ganges River. So this, it's that's kind of simplified explanation. So, but ourselves, it's like that. You don't, you can't really see it, but our body is constantly changing, and then your mind is constantly changing. So mind and body is constantly changing, but if you don't understand it, if you can't let go, you're going to suffer. And then you really have to see in other people too. So this is the Zuimonki, book 5, chapter 2. The primary concern for students of the way must be, first of all, to detach ourselves from personal views. To detach from our personal views is to not cling to our bodies. Even if we penetrate the saying and the stories of ancients and sit unceasingly like iron or a rock, if we attach to our bodies without letting go, we will not be able to attain the way of Buddhas and ancestors. Even if we practice the 10,000 eons of thousands of lifetimes, so that's a long time. So even though you believe you're practicing really hard and then doing sitting and then retreat, but you still attached to your bodies or self-clinging, you're not gonna be able to be free yourself. So I only ask you, Dogen goes on, I only ask you students to sit quietly and investigate the beginning and the end of this body from the basis of reality. Our body, hair, and skin originally comprised the 2 droplets from our father and mother. When our breath stops, they will disperse and finally turn into mud and soil on the mountains and fields. How can we cling to our bodies? Furthermore, when we see from the basis of Dhamma, we are nothing but the gathering and dispersing of the 18 elements. So the 18 elements is again the 5 skandhas, 6 senses, 6 senses, 6 sense organs, eyes and nose, and then 6 senses, and then 6 sense consciousness. Where was that thing? 254. Right. 6 sense organs: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. The 6 sense objects: visible object, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of mind, and the 6 consciousness: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, so on. So it's interesting, like, I like the, he start with like 2 droplets from father and mother, which is, I think it's everybody, and just keeps going, and then becomes mud, when you die. So, and then, so you understand, you heard this maybe many, many times, but still, you keep coming back to, attaching to your body, attaching to your self ideas over and over and over and over. So what are we gonna do, right? So probably you already know this. So I'm going back to Dogen, the chapter, Zuimonki book 2-4. For a Zen monk to make progress, the most important thing to keep in mind is that we must just shikantaza. So there you go. So so this is sort of like a, okay, so now it's, beginners or not beginners, your attachment to egocentric mind is causing the pain and suffering, and then also your view about others too, your view about everything is causing a pain. That belief, this body is me, and body and mind, this body mind is me. So the idea, where did I put it? So if body, this, all the problem, I said this title of the talk is all the problems are body's problem. If you think of it, food, clothing, shelter, family, friends, name, fame, securities, survival. Because you believe this body is yourself and me, and you really cling to it. So that's the, the bottom line of the problem. So the instruction is, in order to let go of this self-clinging, we really need to understand impermanence. Impermanence. So, like, understand impermanence means like you know the body and mind is just a bundle of changing thing, gathering and dispersing constantly, but you believe your belief is so strong, right? So how do we let go of this belief? It's sitting zazen. So that's how I structure my talk. So zazen is important. That this is how we can let go of body and mind. Just sitting and facing a wall, and just letting go of your thoughts. Opening your hands and letting go of any thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Anything. Or any sensation you feel in the body, or any feelings. You just keep letting go. This is sort of like like going to gym or something. So believe me, like I am less clinging to myself than years ago. So like you heard this idea of like a shedding body and mind in Dogen's talk. So shedding body and mind is happening in zazen. You keep letting go. You keep opening opening your hands of thought over and over. And then even just 1 second, once you realize you're attached to your idea or thought, and if you let go, you feel relief. You must have felt it when you're doing zazen, like let go, and even just 1 second, and it doesn't matter how many times you grab it again. Just simple, very simple instruction. Just keep opening your hands 100,000 million times, and that's okay. So and then so even though so even just you're just sitting like maybe once a week, and then or like maybe you're not really reflecting on impermanence of yourself at all, of all other weeks and then all other hours, you're not gonna help yourself that much. So the encouragement is you have to like sort of encourage yourself, commit yourself to practice. If you think of like if you just try, like if you don't refer yourself to your thoughts or feelings in this moment, just for a second, if you don't think, if you don't refer yourself to your thoughts or feelings right now, can you tell who you really are? Anyway, so I think I wanted to make it short today, so we can do a ceremony. And then I'm not an intellectual person, and I know people are excited to ask me questions, but I won't be probably able to answer intellectual questions. So you might have to answer to your question by yourself, or somebody else can answer questions. So so this this is from Diamond Sutra. I would just like to end with this. So you should view this fleeting world a star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. So if you can reflect, to see the world this way, maybe one day, today, tomorrow, to help yourself, to free yourself from all self-clinging. Okay, thank you. You have to answer your question. Okay.
I don't know if I can answer.
Don't you?
Well, first I thought I'd say that the reason that the poems and Zuimonki are in the same book is because the publisher made us do that. It's not our fault. But I was going to say, I really don't have a good answer to this question myself, so I'm hoping you can give me. So I think some people, when they think about impermanence, it might lead them to think something kind of nihilistic, right? Like if everything's impermanent and nothing can be grasped, then why does anything matter? Why should I even bother doing something like zazen, or living a bodhisattva life or something like that? So I wonder what you would say if someone, you're trying to teach the idea of impermanence to someone and that's their reaction. What would you say?
Yeah, so that's hard, I know, I thought about, well, maybe I shouldn't give a talk anymore. Because I feel like I really can't help, So I'm not really compared to myself to Buddha, but, I understand how Buddha thought, when he awakened, I can't tell people, I can't teach this, I understand it, I'm not saying I'm like a Buddha, but it was just, it's hard to, to tell people, this teaching. It's not easy, because zazen is good for nothing. It's good for nothing for this little me, So, and then it's like the end of little me is actually freedom. But how can you tell that to little me? It's like, but it's, I myself, I do really feel, it's not like a faith, but I do feel not wanting anything is the biggest freedom. So because little me always wants something, and I want to be something, I want to have something, I want to gain something, but when you realize this is not little me, and then this is actually not giving you any ultimate happiness, gaining, becoming, I want to be somebody, something. It's not, it's actually making you suffer more. So it's very contradicting, because but you still have to talk to little me's, people who believe they are little me's. So it's just, so, but people already here, the people on the Zoom, and then, people here, it's kind of like, you kind of know, what's coming today, what's coming up. So, if you don't want it, you can just leave and just, just try it. Try as much as you want and can. Nobody's gonna stop you. You want to, become this person, you want to get this job, car, money, fame, go all the way, we're not gonna if that's what you really want, just go for it. And then see, you have to really know, you have to, I guess, because if you don't try it, you won't be able to see it. This is not going to lead me to liberation. So, I encourage people to, I have 11 people who are living with me. They're completely pursuing pursuing, becoming somebody, becoming something, gain something, want to get married, and this partner, and I will be a soulmate and blah. And then, oh, I want to get this job, I want to go to this master program, I want to the PhD program, I'm going to change the world, and then go ahead, But, I not doing that anymore because I know that's not going to lead me to liberation. And then I like the liberation better than gaining something in this world. So, okay. There's so many hands. Oh no, Hoshin.
Often on our Thursday evening group, I wear my rock suit, and we're talking about how alcoholism or addictions, how they hold on to you, or you hold a sense of yourself. I find myself turning the rock suit over and showing versification, which of course talks about liberation. That's part of it. And then thinking about the difference between what liberation is and freedom is. Liberation as a kind of constant process. This is all my own idea. And freedom as that idea or the goal of that process. And so it's always been kind of handy for me when I think about why I took the precepts in the first place, some 30 years ago, and have to keep coming back to what's on the backside of my rock suit and the way it talks about that. So I just thought I'd put that out there and see if you have a response to that.
Oh, do you have your rock suit? Do you want to show it to us?
Sure. Sure.
Are you going to read it in Japanese?
Of course I can.
Of course you can. We do it 3 times a week.
We do. So that's the back side, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you zoom into
You can carry it.
we'll show you what's on the Zoom.
So I think what's interesting about that is, we think we have to go get something exotic or something else in order to work on liberation and freedom, and actually it's embedded in the most basic first things we do. It's right on the rock suit. We don't have, because I really like your premise about, all the problems are problems of the body, right? All of the problems that we think we have that we're carrying around are about individual self in that way. So what I like about that is it really makes that immediate. And it says the problems are not something out here being visited upon me. My problems are about my experience. And on Wednesday, Sawyer was raising an interesting question about, is there such a thing as a sort of a selfless experience? How do you experience something without self, right? So I like how you're turning that back around and saying, look, it's right here. This is about what we're doing with this body and mind right now, and liberation is right here. It's not something we have to go do out here. So I like how you're bringing that back to something very concrete and immediate.
So people who didn't know, if you couldn't read the back of Ratsu, that's a robe chant. Can you, what was the robe chant? Great robe of liberation.
Virtuous field, far beyond form and emptiness. Wearing the Tathagata's teachings, I vow to save all beings.
Right. So even though I chant that every day, I do feel like as a little me, I won't be able to save anybody. So, but it's not little me; it's saving, right? So it's the shift of identification has to, that's very important. You're clinging to idea of your little me, and then, you wanted to make this world better, you were sort of like going back and forth, like a good, bad, and then just keep perpetuating. That's what's happening in the world right now, because you think you have this savior complex too. Okay, I know what is supposed to happen, but we have to really see that we are clinging to our self ideas. So in order to really help, we have to let go of this little me, so then you'll be really able to see both sides and then not attaching to either side and then be able to help.
I like your
Oh, God.
distinction between, I like your
I've got
distinction between
two
liberation
more.
and freedom.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Me again.
Oh yeah, I get next. I really like Dogen's.
You've been promoted.
You've been promoted. Dogen. I really like Doju's question because I'm dealing with it myself right now. The other day, I started with it when I cleaned out my mom's stuff when she died. And I'm looking at my stuff and I'm reflecting on the same thing. I have all this stuff that I appreciate, things that I value, and they're all going to go away. I'm going to die, and someone is going to buy or pay somebody to throw all my crap into the junk heap. All my books on Dharma, all my books on philosophy, my robe, my okesa, my raksu, that's all going to go into the garbage.
Those are going to your students.
Or to my students. It could. I have a hard time doing beneficiaries on my stuff right now. But I'm finding that interesting because when I look on, I find the question to be interesting because it's not necessarily a question of value. It's a question of how do you live? Like yesterday, I was coming home from visiting a friend, and I had a 2-hour drive. And in that, I was finding and going through the same thing while trying to pick a song or pick an album to listen to. Right? Why do I want to listen to this? This is kind of garbage. This is kind of crap. This is nothing but screaming weasels opera. Anyway, it's even to the point of me ordaining. I will tell people that I'm an ordained Zen priest or monk, whatever you want to be. And I'm expecting, there's an attachment of self there, I see it. I'm expecting for them to say, cool. They're like, okay. I don't get a reaction. It's like, they don't think about this the same way I think about this, or some of the other people in the room thinks about this. And so my question for you is, how do you, when you let go of self, how do you live? How do you live? Right? I can look at myself through all the stages of my life, and I can see how I had certain predilections, specifically with clothes. When I was in college, I'm sorry everybody, but I was one of those idiots who wore spandex and tank tops. I was not aware of propriety. It changed to camo and, oh my God, camo and Hawaiian shirts. Later on, it changed to Oxford button-downs with a nice corduroy jacket, 90s professor-ish thing. I think since just before COVID, I've been wearing nothing but gray shirts, gray or green, and whatever kind of pants I can find. It just doesn't matter anymore. right? It always changes, but I seem to be, it always changes, but it always seems to be that I'm replacing it with something else of a preference. So when I try to drop the self, I'm the self that drops the self within the self.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I live with this?
Well, I think you are living now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's no, so the thing is, there's no how. There's no how manual, there's no nothing, this is how. Each person has to live their own life. So I can't really tell you how, because that's your life, that's your question to yourself. So I'm curious, were you maybe slightly freer when you're trying to wear like something different every day, spandex, tank top, the red, blue, yellow, oh this and this, and oh I want to get more, I want to go to the store and I'll get a new clothes. What was it better life than now? Okay, I'm just going gray. Same boring gray, black, every day, doesn't matter. Is that which is freer? I mean, to me, I have less stuff right now. I feel freer. More you have a stuff, you have to take care of it. Like you have house, you have car, you have to pay insurance. You have more clutter. You're putting more clutter in your head. So I do appreciate how, originally, I know like we can't really live like a monk, like how Buddha lived, because, our society doesn't allow us to do it. But still, he said renunciation is you just have a ball, one ball, and this is it. This is all you have. But actually, anyway, so that's actually Buddha told you. This is the teaching. You have a less stuff, so you don't have to worry about. You have a more space to practice. So like I asked the Sawyer, like, well, why Buddha said there's no farming. What's wrong is farming. But, so we were sort of like working in the vegetable garden or the yard we have. So then Sawyer said, well, farming is a lot of picking and choosing and killing. Maybe weeding and you getting, oh, this is a weed, this is the insect, you don't want this. Lots of killing, lots of picking, choosing. I want this, not that, and then we have little strawberry patch, and I wanted to eat strawberry in this. So I tried, putting a lot of effort, putting a net around it because the rabbits are eating, and then a lot of effort. And then we still got, the squirrel got to eat, so, so disappointed. So it's like, this is the world. This is the world we're living in. So the less you have is, you can free yourself a little bit, but this is it's really up to you. If you think more you get is more you happier, go for it. If you want to have money, go for it. Nobody's trying to stop you. And then everybody has a different, the time of your life. You're not ready. You still want to keep everything for yourself. Just keep getting more storage, and then keep looking at them, and then feel good about it in the past. That's okay. Nobody's stopping you. So, but question to you is this making me freer? Is this making me less suffer or causing me more suffering? Which one is it? Even slightly, so this is the practice of being aware of what you do and what you think and what you feel inside, outside. So, this is, yeah, sorry.
I will just say that, no, I was not freer when I wore spandex, but boy, was I comfortable.
Yeah, if you have a picture, I want to see it. Okay, Ritoku, you want to say something?
Oh, well,
You
okay.
wanted to, did you raise your hand?
Oh, I was just making a comment about the idea of liberation and freedom. And when you said that, I was thinking about that song by Janis, that freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
So yeah, I think it's interesting. Is like Buddhism is more you lose, like game of losing.
So what do you say when you say, okay, narcissistic hedonist, just pursue all your desires to your heart's content? Well, there is kind of an environmental impact to that. So it's not merely a matter that people's personal choices are their own, they have an impact on everyone else.
Yeah, but I'm not really talking about the world. So, it's just I'm not.
Just your 11 colleagues.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the people are doing it, and if you start condemning these people, we are doing the same thing. So it's the idea of like making wrong and good, and then judging other people. So our practice is just only see yourself, just study yourself first. We don't really need to judge other people or other world. Nobody's asking you to do that. If you want to do it, that's fine, but see how it goes. Sorry. Okay, shall we?
There's a hand up there.
Hand up. Oh no.
Abby.
Abby. Oops.
Apologies, Esho, for this last minute question. Actually, it's not a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
The body, which we have to learn to be not attached to. I have found that my body is also, first of all, the basis of my practice. I can't practice without a body. Impermanence and suffering of the body has given me bodhicitta. So I guess for me, the challenge has been, this is not a question, but the challenge has been to find a middle way, to treat my body with necessary respect and yet not to be attached. Very difficult. That's all.
No, totally one. Yeah. No. Yeah. So especially when your body is injured or has illness, it's very hard. And I have persistent cough, and I wanted to get rid of, and then I'm suffering for that. Somebody said in order you need to let go of both pain and pleasure. So if you cling to either, I mean, definitely you don't want to pain, but if you cling to pleasure, you're going back to the same, this up and down. And then, so you could go deeper in pain, like what you probably practicing, going to the pain and then really understand the pain in the body. Because if you don't push the pain away, pain is not going to be a problem. And then, like what you said, we need a body to practice. We need a body and mind to practice. And it's not a mistake that, we have an identification to this body, because if somebody trying to hit you, you want to, walk away or run away. So it's not a mistake. So we need to use body and mind wisely to practice. And practice letting go of self-clinging. Right, I think we have enough today.
We should probably go on to the
Okay.
second.
Thank you.